very strong in order to deal with that. Mm-hmm. And so if you see white people as the alien or the other, or that they have something over you, then it's going to be hard sitting around them all day.
So you think a lot of black people look at it from that perspective?
Listen, black people, white people, all people have these prejudgments about other people.
Oh, I agree with that.
I'm going to sit next to him. He's Chinese. He's got to know the answers. Really?
He's very good at math.
Yeah. No, I mean, one time I was working at a summer school. They said, this kid stole something. He was Chinese. I would have never thought that a Chinese kid would steal something. This is a teacher saying that. You're Chinese. I'm going to sit next to you. I've heard students say that. You must know the answers. The kids in summer school like you, he must not know too much. People have these crazy ideas. When I'm talking to these kids this summer from China, and I said, everybody thinks you're smart. They said, I don't know where that came from.
But you know what it is,
What is wrong with them? They don't even believe
You know where that came from? You know where that came from? The media. The way the media portrays people of color as opposed to the way they portray. Remember when we read...
Well, who is it coming from? Who believes that? So you're saying that black people see that they're portrayed as ignorant people, and so they believe that themselves?
No, they don't believe it. Other people believe it.
Okay.
And that's what other people have the perception of them.
But then there's also this...
And then they don't want them. Then they say, okay, for example, right? At Columbia High School, they believe those kids are in those levels because they deserve to be in those levels.
You can't say that, Anselm.
Let me read this for you. The South Orange Maplewood School District is among the New Jersey school district with the highest racial disparities in tracking and student discipline. While white students make up slightly less than half of the student body, 70% of the higher level classes are filled with white students, while 70% of the lower level classes are filled with black students. And you know why that is? Why is that? That's not because the kids didn't do good in math, or they didn't do good in science, or they didn't do good in biology, right? The teacher recommended that I think Mustafa should be in level 3. I told you, my son, a teacher.
Not you changed that, didn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well then that is up to those parents to do something about that.
Not because he was a bad student, right? Not because he wasn't getting A's or B's in the class, because she thought that he was helping another kid in the class. She thought that he was helping another kid in the class, so he should be in level 3. I said, what? Show me the policies and procedures. And that's when my good friend, Dr. Renee Pollack, stepped in and said, Anselm, I'll take care of it. She want to put my son in level 3. Come on. If he's a level 4 student, and for that simple thing that had nothing to do with an education, she want to put him in level. What about those other kids? Those other poor kids.
Many people would say what was, and I don't know what is right now. Okay, because I don't like talking about
I can tell you what is.
But
the ACLU is telling us what is.
I'm telling you that
so
a lot of people,
what they're saying.
a lot, they're only going by some statistics that they must have gathered from the past couple of years, but that doesn't mean that is happening today.
It is.
Okay. At any rate.
When this article came out today. So you disagree with these numbers?
At any rate.
Okay. This is my political science teacher here. She's giving me a lesson.
I mean, not just a political science, but I really observe humanity, Anselm, and I really watch things.
Want to paraphrase? I don't want to.
No, well, that's what you're doing. You're going to tell me what I'm saying.
So tell me what you mean.
I'm telling you that you can't assume that all of this is some racial plot.
You
can't. So
just based on these numbers.
Wait a minute. Okay, based on these numbers, and you'll say, well, this happened to this happened to my kid. This happened to this kid. It happened to that kid, but it didn't happen to that one, or that one. So what do you say about that kid, or that kid? Why are those a few exceptional Negroes that get a...
Because their parents might be involved, right? Their parents might be in the PTA, right? Their parents might be in the township committee. Their parents.
Marjorie's way, you know, they might have got away because they're good looking, but I don't think
told
that.
you about my experience at Tuscan Elementary School.
It wasn't. I understand what you've told me, but I'm telling you that I don't think that because my children are my children, they received any special treatment.
My children received special treatment.
Okay, well then you are one of those people, just like you received special treatment
One of the
because
few
your
people of color.
your last name is LeBourne. But
Not
some
an American,
people,
Trinidad and
somebody
Tobago.
in some places, that is not the case. It's not always the case. Now, not to say that perhaps this person, this child,
You
who
defending-
this law. No, I'm not. But I'm telling you because it's not like you think it is.
You defending Columbia High School.
I am defending the fact that there is tracking and it exists, and I understand why it exists.
And they don't discriminate against the kids of color. They put them in the levels they deserve to be in.
I think that they might put black kids in some levels they deserve to be in, and I think they might put some white kids in levels that they don't deserve to be in.
So that's not discrimination. What do you call that?
I think it's treating the white people unfairly.
There you go.
Time check brought to you by Simper Alexander.
Oh my God! Did you see?
White people are being treated unfairly. They're not being treated fair.
You know, I'm surprised. I'm
Do you
surprised
understand
tonight.
why I say they're not being treated? Just like putting this boy in this Asian kid in my class. Why? Because he's Asian.
But
The
how
kid
could you
isn't even
compare
class.
Staten Island with South
Because
Orange
they're
Maplewood?
people, and people
You cannot
do.
compare Staten Island with
Staten
South Orange
Island is
Maplewood.
has way more issues than South
But you
Orange
cannot
Maplewood.
compare-
It has way more issues.
What is the makeup? If you had to say, what's the makeup of Staten Island? Let's look it up. What's
I'm not
the makeup
talking
of
about the
Staten
makeup
Island?
of Staten
I'm
Island.
just-
Can we
I'm
talk
just-
about the school in particular?
No, what's the makeup of the school system? Yes.
It's the school I work in. I work
Yes.
for the city of New York. So
What's the school? The school you work in?
the school I work in is 30-30-30. I've told you that already.
Or 30-30-30?
Yes.
Very diverse then.
Then the 10% is
So
some kind of Asian, be they Southeast Asians or, you know.
So it's different
Korean.
at Columbia. It's 56%. No. Oh, here we go.
I don't think those stats are in that article.
No.
But
It
I
says,
think that Columbia is probably 60% black, whatever the opposite of what the
60% and like 30-something%. I think like
Yes, I mean, look, when
30%.
we looked at the achievement
Yeah.
gap and we looked at the, you know,
So-
we looked at it before, right? And I took only year I remember is my son's year of taking the HESPA. So you had 64% of white students who achieved advanced proficient and 11%
my
of black
God.
students who achieved
that is
advanced
horrible.
proficient. Now,
That
how could 60% of white kids really be advanced and only 11% of
Partially
black
proficient.
kids? Okay, no. Advanced.
I know.
Okay, so I mean, I was just looking at the numbers. I was looking at that gap between those who are advanced white and black. Okay, how is that possible? Is it because they have some superior
Do
brain?
you want me to tell you it's possible?
No, I know what your answer is already.
What's my answer?
Your answer is that they were prepared in school by being put in higher level classes that
Correct.
prepared them to take those
Absolutely correct. You're correct. And let me tell you this.
And probably 11% of those kids who were in those higher level classes were black, and those were the ones that got that 11%.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. So, and I told you this already. At Boys and Girls High School in Brooklyn, I don't even know if there were levels, to be honest with you. It's a public school. I don't even know. But I know that.
There always are, and there always have been. They're just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying that I just need you to understand that putting a heterogeneous group of students in one room, one who reads at the second grade, one who is at 12th grade, and one who is at 9th grade, is just not good for anyone. It's not good for
That's what you think. That's what you believe.
It's not good for anyone.
Has there been any-
Wait. I could see if you said, I'm going to put in somebody who's at the 9th grade level with an 11th grade, but you're not going to put somebody who's at an 8th grade in with an 11th grade. You want certain people to move up, but you do not want to slow the other people down.
But Marjorie, if you remove the levels, right, you are not going to be mixing certain kids in level 4 with kids in level 3, right? You're going to be mixing kids in level 2 with kids in level 3.
But
right?
you're saying you still have levels, and you're just saying, I thought you want to destroy all of them.
Yeah, get rid of all of it.
Okay.
Because you're going to be mixing all the kids.
So there's no subgrouping of anyone.
Right, but what may happen is that instead of just all level 1 kids, you may know kids in level 1 and level 2, as an example. But there's no levels. But they may be now in one group, level 1, 2, and 3. They may be all in one group.
If you had level 1, and let's just assume, I'm going to make the assumption that level 1.
Well, why are you going to assume now?
Because,
you didn't want me to assume
this is based on my knowledge that a level 1 student also has some kind of learning disability.
Okay.
So there are laws as to how many students with a learning disability can be in a room at one time. So you can have a self-contained class with only students of learning disability, or a mixed class that's got, 30 to 40% students with a learning disability with those without. And then if you do that, at least in the state of New York and probably so in New Jersey, it's going to require an additional teacher in the room. So, for example, if I had a class that was so-called regular, and then I had special ed students in that class, if there are 13 of them, then I'm going to need a teacher in the class who knows how to teach special ed. So I'll write up the lesson, and then the special ed teacher will modify the lesson so those 11 people can get it. But that one teacher alone, who, like me, I'm an expert in my field in the sense that I know history and I know political science. I know world history and I know political science. I know how to find that information, but I don't know how to teach someone who's dyslexic. I don't know how to teach someone who can't read. I just don't. So then they're going to put somebody who has those skills in the room with me.
So, Marjorie, let me ask you a question.
And so you are saying the only way for that to happen is for every class to have about two adults in the room. So
no, I'm not saying that.
If that's the only way, if you mix up a class with all these different levels, the best way for that to be sufficient, and now I've learned that the best way to teach is to have another adult in the room because kids need to see adults. Yes, but so no one is going to really do that. Put 2 teachers in a room.
Well, I don't think you need 2 teachers in a room. But let me say this to you. And let me ask you the question. So let's take the South Orange Maplewood School District. The gifted and talented is predominantly what? In South Orange and Maplewood?
Probably.
AP classes are predominantly what?
That's what they say. Yes.
Honors classes are predominantly what?
Okay.
Now, there is a thing called Project Ahead. That's for the slow kids. That is predominantly what?
Students who have needs. We're not going to call them slow.
Right. Well, I mean,
somebody's parent wouldn't want to hear that.
No, I'm not trying to denigrate anyone.
But if someone needs additional assistance, yes.
Right. I know they changed the name, but it was Project Ahead back then. They may have changed the name. Project Ahead is predominantly what? In this community, Project Ahead. For what do you call them?
You're saying that's predominantly black.
Okay, good.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, right? Lower levels. Level 3 and lower. Level 3 and lower.
All right. Let me ask you.
But let me finish.
Hurry up before I forget what I'm going to say.
You got to let me finish. You could to take notes. Just give yourself a note, right? So what you are saying to me is that in this community of South Orange and Maplewood, all of the gifted and talented kids are of one persuasion. All of the AP classes, which are also the talented kids, or the more intelligent kids, or the more well-learned kids, right, are AP classes. The honors classes are all, again, the kids who are better well-learned, well-read, well-traveled, whatever. And the lower levels are all the kids of color, and Project Ahead for the kids that have some learning disabilities are all predominantly kids of color. And you think that's just the way it is. You don't think there is any other thing happening why it's like that You just think that that's just the way it is.
Let me ask you, how do you believe that these children are